there, sports fans, it's the Professor. I am heading back to the great Hoosier State from Hoosier Outpost West out in Colorado Springs. Going to have a breakdown of the Chicago Cubs 2 weekend games. So as you'll call back, the Cubs played a Thursday game, which was a bit odd. I don't know why they either didn't have a 4-game series with the Nats at Wrigley or just start on Friday, but that's how it was scheduled. So they had Friday off, and that took us into Saturday's game. Cade Horton came out. Overall, fantastic performance from Cade Horton. He looks as good as he did last season. He had an 11-4 record last season. He also had a .183 ERA in the second half of the season. The only person who had a better ERA than him in Major League Baseball was Paul Skeens in the second half. But Cade Horton showing why he was the National League Rookie of the Year runner-up last season, and came out looking really good. The game was a tale of two Wrigley Fields, which very generally happens in the springtime. So wind was blowing in on Cade, really helped him get those fastballs in. He works really fast from the bump. He was able to get those balls in there very quickly, little time for the batters to react. And we also had the wind then shift and blow out into the right. So he ends up giving up 2 runs over 6 1/3 inning, but minimal amount of hits. And those 2 runs came on. It was a ball that he left up and in the zone, just a little bit too much for a walk. And then a 2-run home run that just caught the wind just right in the right field corner, was able to get out. That was really the only, at that point in the game, that was really the only place that you could hit it out. After that, the Cubs started mashing. Ian Happ gets his first hit of the year, which happens to be a 3-run home run. That pretty much clinched it for the Cubs. They get double digits runs in the second game. And as I've said before, the Cubs offense is feast or famine. It's striking on all cylinders, or they just cannot see the pitcher very well. And so everything looks really great. Some great defensive plays. 3 double plays turned during the game. Just the defense looking great in the positions in the infield. So that was a really good game to watch or listen to for a Cubs fan. That brought us into the rubber match on Sunday, and unfortunately, as I've been saying, the Cubs are going to live and die by their starting pitcher and whether or not the batters can see the ball. And that's really the only 2 things that I can say, because Shota Imagnotta, there it is, comes into the game, starts as our 3rd pitcher in the rotation, and he gives up 3 runs in the first inning. Overall, he ends up coming out 4 1/3, gives up 7 hits, 3 runs, and just did not look good. Very, very sloppy, very weak-armed, just was not striking out, and very much looking like the Shota of the second half of last season. So that was very disappointing. I mean, that was what I wanted him to get those sets and reps in spring training, so that this was not the version of him that we got. Still small sample size for the year, but on spring training as well as World Baseball Classic, he is just not going to be able to deliver what I think the Cubs were hoping for, re-signing him and hoping that the second half of last season was just a down half of the season for him. He's just not looked the same since his leg injury last year. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a mechanic of his pitching, but everybody has seen everything that he can throw. He usually uses a slider. He also has a decent fastball, but the slider is kind of his go-to outside of the fastball, and it's just not, everybody's seeing it. I don't know if he's telegramming it or what's going on, but anyway, game is over basically at the top of the first half because 3 runs given up. Cubs don't even get a base runner until the 3rd inning. It's just not looking good. The only real silver lining of the game is the Cubs defense on the infield looks good. We finally are I'm getting enough views of Bregman, and the Bregman, Swanson, Nico Horner infield is dynamite. Those guys can lay and slap leather on the ball almost anywhere. They are super athletic. They work well and move well together as an infield squad, and so that is reassuring because that's definitely a maintain. That's definitely the good thing. Ian Happ gets his second hit, which happens to be a home run, and Bregman gets his first home run ball as a Cub today in back-to-back hits. That would be the only scoring in those early innings for the Cubs, where it ends up being a 3-2 game, then a 4-2 game, and then a 6-2 game, and then Bregman does go for a second one. So Cubs waste a really good day at bat by Bregman, who hits 2 home runs. Fortunately, they were single home runs, which is just too bad. We get, I look at the in-game coaching strategy, and when it was 4-2 in the it would have been the 4th inning, just like I had said before and was kind of announced but not really, Colin Ray was up and warming up, and Colin Ray should have been the pitcher to come in. Instead, Counsell goes with Phil Maton, who had pitched the day before, and it looked really good during his short few innings that he had in. But those guys were supposed to be setup men for the closer, and of course we didn't need the closer because we were winning the game with double-digit runs on Saturday. So, but he brings him in again, and I don't know if the sabermetrics said that the matchup was favorable or whatnot, but that's who ends up, Phil Maton ends up coming in and giving up the lead for the Cubs, which that gives up the 2-run home run. That was not good, because then the Cubs were down 6-3 going into the 7th inning, and the Cubs go quietly after that, and another really, I want to say terrible, but I don't understand the decision-making process was Counsell brought in Palencia in a game where we were down 3 runs going into the 9th, the bottom of the 9th, the top of the 9th. And so he wastes his designated closer day on a game that probably was already, it's a 3 runs. You're going to have to score in 1 inning. Is it doable? Yes. Do you want to keep him from scoring any more and making it, even more impossible? Also, yes. But do you waste your arm, your best arm in the bullpen to close, knowing that we've got a 3-game series with Los Angeles Angels starting tomorrow? I think that was a bad call. And so Counsell brings in Palencia. Palencia sets him down, which is fine. He does his job. But then the Cubs go 1-2-3 in the 9th, and it's over. And so just a bad series for the Cubs from opening day. Starting pitcher Matthew Boyd getting absolutely shelled. Good rebound with Cade Horton, a really good performance out of him, which is like, that should be the standard. The standard on the offense, the standard on the pitching. I mean, it was in-game managed well. I didn't have any issues with the second game. And then the third game, there's just these really odd pitching matchups where you're using the same guys that just pitched yesterday. You're using them in places that you said you weren't going to use them, and then you waste your closer on a game that's pretty much out of hand already. Cubs are going to regret losing to these Nationals. These Nationals do not have what it takes to win anything in the East. They're not projected to even make the postseason, and the Cubs are. And the Cubs dropped their first series 2-3 at home at Wrigley Field with 3 of their top 5 pitchers. So I just don't get it. I don't like it. I think it was a bunch of bad calls. And the really unfortunate news is we do play a not great, again, Los Angeles Angels team at home. So we have a 3-game series against the Angels, so they'll be traveling. But they're facing our 4, 5, and then our 1 again, who is Matthew Boyd. So I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't like how this game is setting up, the Cubs for failure in the next game. We'll have to see. Hopefully the offense, again, I hate wasting 2 home runs out of Bregman. Ian Happ has found, well, at least he was taking advantage of the wind at Wrigley. But then also in the 9th inning, the other thing that made no sense to me, you're down 3 runs going into the bottom of the 9th. And you're in the middle of the order, leading off with Nico Horner. And the move is not hit for contact and get base runners. They let all 3 of them swing away. You're not going to win a ball game down 3 runs with solo home runs. You're just not. And that was what the batting coach and counsel were telling the guys. And so you got Nico Horner leading off. He's got very good speed, very capable of stealing. Get him on base and then try to make a play at letting him steal a bag, and then play small ball and get some runners on base and push a runner across. Give us a shot, But nope, they go 1, 2, 3, swinging for the fences, trying to play hero ball. It looked atrocious. It looked poorly coached. And I'm glad that series is over. It's left a very bad taste in my mouth, and I'm already ready for Los Angeles to come into town, and hopefully our 4, 5, and then 1 again can show up and do something. I'm really not looking forward to Italian's start. Italian with a freaking 14.73 ERA in spring training over 5 starts, losing all 5 starts, does not bode well, knowing that he's going to be our starter. And maybe the game plan, and this is, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, counsel. If Italian comes in and gives you like 2 decent innings, pull him and put Colin Ray in to let him eat up 4 or 5 innings, because he's capable of doing it. And I don't know why they didn't do it today. Instead, they used an overworked setup 8th inning guy, and we get rocked and we lose the game. So that's it for the Cubs weekend. Unfortunately, like I said, to recap, Cubs lose the series 1-2. Really bad showing on opening weekend against a not great team. I don't want to say really bad, but projected to be the bottom of the East, which is going to be probably the bottom of the league. And we're gonna want these games back come the end of the season. I know we are. So we'll leave it there. We will do a recap of college baseball once all the games are complete. And the one good piece of news, silver lining as far as the lineup goes, Seiya Suzuki was named onto the injured reserve for a 10-day, so that's not terrible. And then it dated back to March 22nd. So he is already looking at getting a rehab start at Iowa, I think early next week. So that'll be a good thing. So that's pretty solid. That's it for here. As always, go IU, go Cubs.